We are live here on Live Site Productions Instagram account. We are with head coach Graham Bodner of Ridgewood YMCA Breakers here in New Jersey. The host team of the 2022 YMCA Bronze Championships West Region. Hosting from the Witherspoon Pool. We just finished a day of streaming. 2 sessions streamed. It's 12 and unders to begin the day, 13 overs to end the day. Graham, first impressions, how'd the day go?
I mean, it's fantastic. I think when you look at these meets and you look at where these kids have been in the past 2 years, this was their first proper championship meet outside of COVID, right? Yeah, we're still dealing with some stuff with, social distancing and wearing the masks, but we're making our way out of it, and this was a step in that direction for the athletes to experience that championship level performance again. I haven't taken a look at the results at a deep dive yet, but I know from my team and hearing what the other coaches are saying on the pool deck that championship atmosphere was certainly here today, and the swimmers stepped up in a way that made it such. I mean, like during the relays, you should listen back on the live stream. It got loud on that live stream.
It did. I don't know if you guys saw the start camera was shaking a bit with some of the swimmers in the stand shaking it. Yeah. It's all good though.
Yeah.
Love excited kids.
Yeah.
So how important is that team camaraderie like at the championship meet like this? Yes, relays. We all love relays. We were both swimmers ourselves. But how much does that team dynamic play into the success as a team and the individual at a meet like this?
I think first level is like the YMCA, right? Like we have dual meets at the beginning of every year. So the team atmosphere with a YMCA team is already there, right? So when you get to a championship meet and you get a little further away from those dual meets, you sort of like not lose that team camaraderie, but relays at a championship meet sort of like reinvigorate and re-bring that out in other people. I mean, we had a kid today on the breakers actually get a silver cut leading off the relay, and he didn't even realize it. Like he was just like, I just wanted to get in there. I just wanted to
honestly,
race.
As an athlete, my favorite way to get a cut.
Yeah, it's the best.
Lead off in a relay.
Lead off in a relay.
No holds barred, go.
And just go, but you're doing it for your team.
Yeah.
Right? You're doing it for your team, and like this, bronze is not scored, but as we move into silvers and states, that those meets will be scored, and we're tuning and we're kind of refining how we're doing these relays, as well as like just seeing who is going to be that ultimate teammate.
So you mentioned silvers and states. Obviously, the next level in the ladder of championship meets for the YMCA system. Right. Check out Y Silvers next weekend here live on Live Site Productions. 3 days or 2.5 days, I should say. 2 pools. It's going to be some great swimming.
Absolutely.
In regards to that growth, and we can see this also in USA Swimming, not just Y Swimming. Mm-hmm. Of that growth of meets. You have your Junior Olympics, you have your sectionals, your future meets, going up to trials and into maybe the echelon of our sport, Olympics. How, if you had 1 or 2 small tidbits of advice for the bronze athlete or the silver athlete trying to take that next level, move up in that next step, what would that be? I mean, it's a very loaded question. We could spend a whole live on that alone. But one small, is it accountability? Is it just grit and determination and drive? It's about power. It's about drive.
I mean, for me, it comes back to actually discipline. I think discipline is the biggest one. It's that you need to, even as a bronze athlete, I think any athlete, you can't get confused with I need to be motivated to make silvers. If you don't, these great athletes, doesn't matter the sport, are not super pumped every single day to show up and train. Probably 90% of the time, they're pretty bummed to be there. That's the hard truth of athletics. But what separates them, and I'm actually going to give this a 2-part answer, but what separates them is their discipline to show up every day. Right. And they're showing up every single day to do the things necessary.
99% of it is showing up.
It is. It's literally showing up. And then with that, there's this layered cake theory of commitment. Okay. Right? So when you eat a layered cake, obviously you don't just scrape the icing off the top. You'd be a little bit of a sociopath if you just scrape the icing off the top, ate it, and just toss the rest of the cake away. I really like cake, so I like to eat the whole thing. But when you look at commitment, right, that top layer of your icing and what the base layer of understanding of commitment for bronze level athletes is, it's just Okay, I'm committed to the team and committed to the sport.
Right.
Okay, great. You show up every day and you go to meets. That's great. But guess what? You're missing 5 more layers of this cake, right?
Yeah.
The next layer of commitment, I think, is showing up every day and doing the right things in practice.
Yeah.
All right, great. You've committed to doing that. But guess what? There's still 4 more layers to go.
Right.
Your next layer then is committing to do the right things when it's tough.
Yeah.
That's the next layer of icing. All right, great. You did it during that one main set towards the end. Woohoo, good job. There's still 3 more to go.
Yeah.
Right? And you can just take this like commitment theory and like drive it down to, let's say you're doing a set of 3100s, right? You can look at the elite level, or maybe even just the state level swimmer is doing 30 perfect 100s,
Right.
whereas
Not
the
necessarily
other,
the fastest, but perfect.
but perfect, right? Exactly, and they're hitting the same time, and they're hitting their breakouts, and they're not breathing off their walls, and they're going past the flags on their streamline, and they're underwater, and they're touching the wall at the same time every single time. And then there's the other 99% of swimmers who are doing 3100s on X interval.
On X interval.
There's the difference there. That's probably like the last layer of the cake is like they understand commitment in
Commitment to the process.
commitment to the process in a much deeper understanding than what other people kind of have to understand. So that would be my like tidbit is like understand discipline to show up every day, and then the levels of commitment that you have to have.
And then move through that. That's amazing. So,
Yeah.
last thing, I'll let you go. I know you got to wrap up here before we get going tomorrow. Obviously, big game tomorrow. Bengals, Rams, what's your pick?
You already know Bengals all the way. Joe Burr, Bengals, baby, all the way. Take them the whole way.
All right, we love it. Well, thanks for having us out once again to stream this meet.
Thank you, man.
Look for the streams tomorrow. Again, with the 12 and unders in the morning and into the afternoon, the 13 overs. Live here on the live site on YouTube. See you then, guys.